My name is Jesse Hagopian. I'm a product of the Seattle Public Schools, graduated from Garfield High School, and now I teach here in the Seattle Public Schools. I'm also a co-founder of a group called Educators, Students, and Parents for a Better Vision of the Seattle Public Schools. And people bought the school district's propaganda about how we had to close schools to save money in this budget crisis. And now I think Seattle knows the truth about the school closure plan, which is that it's a failure academically because it'll lead to higher class sizes, because it'll disrupt children's schools, and it's a failure financially because, in fact, it won't save money. The last round of school closures drove 20% of kids out of the district. Well, the way school funding works is you get funding per pupil. When you lose 20% of kids at affected buildings, you lose the state funding that goes with them. If we lost 20% of kids in this current round of school closures, you're talking about over $4 million leaving the Seattle Public Schools. That's more than the $3.6 million that they say they're going to save. But the most outrageous thing about the finances is that right now, Congress is debating a fiscal stimulus plan that has $316 million slated to come to Washington State for education. So they're getting ready to vote to close schools because they say there's no money. And they can't wait a couple weeks to find out if this bill passes and if we get this money. And that shows me that this district has no commitment to the future of our kids. And
my name is Jason Farberman. I don't teach or go to the schools here, but I'm a community member, and I think that everyone's impacted by the school closures. So I wanted to come out here and throw my support behind all the students and the parents that go to the schools that are going to get closed. I think that schools are supposed to be where we train the next layer of adults on how to behave in society. And if we show them that people of color are not important, that poor people are not important, that a diversity of education is not important, then what are we expecting when they grow up? We're not going to ever hope to conquer bigotry, intolerance, or any of these issues.
My name's Eric Dawson. I was the person that filed the recall on the school board members after the last round of closures. And I probably will be the person that filed the recall after this round is complete. What I'm seeing with this district, this is a closure that's not about money. This isn't about money. It's not about funding, as they keep saying. It's not about seats. It's not about seats in the area on the south end. If it was, how can we get a brand new school built on the south end if we had all these empty seats? Who was at the helm then? So with a $30 million slush fund sitting on the side that they're talking about, well, that's rainy day money. It's pouring down if my kids it's got to be moved from their school. It's pouring down, so I don't understand any of it. What happened with the NAACP president was just a racist move that they tried to make, and if they would have knew the president of the NAACP, they probably wouldn't have did that. But I'm glad that they did, because that brought a little bit more insight to the media's eyes about what's happening here. But
the fact that is it racist?